All right.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for being here. My name's Thatcher Weldon, and I just want to do some quick introductions of this team that we have here. I am the director of adult education for Kern Community College District and the Kern Adult Education Consortium. I chair that board. And we are the largest geographic adult education consortium in the state of California. We cover over 24,000 square miles. And today, I want to introduce you to this innovative team we have here. Paul, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dr. Paul De La Cerda. Really honored to be with you all today. I've been in higher education for over 20 years. I've served in multiple capacities: faculty, director, dean, vice president. Now working very closely with teams, trying to assist schools to work with their school populations. I love working with adults. And if it wasn't for adult education, I wouldn't be here today. My parents were a product of adult education. Very nice to meet you all. Pass it over to Mr. Gino.
Hi, I'm Gino Malkowitz. I've been in education since DIRT. The last 10 years or so in adult education, the last 8 years or so teaching the program we're going to be talking about and training other educators to use the program as well. It's an honor to be here. Tony.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tony Purdle. I am a full-time faculty member of a community college in Central California, and I teach social media and business. I have been in education, higher education, since DIRT, like Gino, 30-something years, I think. I did originally teach in England in the prison system, and here in the United States in Illinois, and now in California for the last other pieces of dirt and dust. I too am a product of the adult education system, particularly here in the United States, and I'm very happy to be here this afternoon and share with you what the project is all about. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Jeff.
Well, hello everybody. Dr. Jeff Marizek, also educator for over 20 years, faculty in business and economics, real estate, also was a dean at the systems level. Now enjoying educational consulting and interested in remote work, the metaverse, and kind of those disruptive things that are happening in higher education. And I am calling in from Thailand, practicing just how far we can reach out and change the world through learning.
Excellent. So thanks again for joining us, guys. This is our title is Helping Adult Students Live Their Dreams. And when the Perkins Reserve Innovation Grant applications opened up, we thought this was a great opportunity to get some additional funding that we could braid with our California Adult Education Program funding to kind of figure out how do we reach more of the adult ed population in our region. We have a lot of rural areas where students have difficulty. They have different barriers that to get to the adult schools and to the community colleges. So we started thinking, okay, how do we reach these students? What are some innovative ways to provide educational opportunities for the adult education students in our region? And I had known Gino before. He had given a presentation to our consortium about the Get Focused, Stay Focused career choices curriculum. And this was pre-COVID. And so when this came about, I got back in touch with him, and I met Paul through a mutual colleague in our community college district. And we started thinking about different ways we could do this. And that's what started this pathway for us. And we were one of 2 community college districts in the state to receive the full $300,000 grant award without conditions. So we were very excited about that opportunity. Anything else? Okay, so some of the goals, project goals for this is we're developing career tech ed that are short-term in nature with high employment potential, programs in secondary and post-secondary skills, including those leading to high school diploma or high school equivalency with a link to CTE, programs for immigrants and citizenship, ESL and workforce prep, programs for adults including but not limited to older adults are primarily related to entry or re-entry into the workforce. Now, some of this might sound very familiar to all of you in here. That's because we intentionally tied these project goals to the California Adult Ed goals that we have in our consortium with our 3-year plan and our annual plans. So the populations that we serve are the older residents in Kern, Tulare, Porterville areas, and then we even go up into Inyo and Mono County. Like I said, we're a very large consortium, and this older resident population is going to continue to increase. The residents aged 55 and older are one of the fastest growing cohorts in our region. More than 30% of the current population is under the age of 25 in our region. Another 11% of the population is 65 or older. And by 2060, the percentage of Kern, Tulare, Porterville, and the surrounding counties population that is 60 plus is expected to increase by 175%. Another thing I want to include is we also have the highest percentage of dislocated youth in our region for California. I think we're second in the country, but we're number 1 in California, which is not a good number 1. So that's another reason we wanted to apply for this grant. And then the special populations for our grant: English language learners, adult secondary education, and adult basic ed, and then rising scholars. So those students or clients coming in who have just gotten out of jail or prison, and they're trying to re-enter the workforce.
All right, so let me share about the program a little bit, and then we're going to dive in and show you a little video about this. So this program is a 30-year-old program. It's been around quite some time, and not only in California but nationally. You may have heard of the Get Focused, Stay Focused program, and you may have seen it, in schools throughout your area. And you may have even experienced it as well, with your own students or within your own family. This program, again, is a comprehensive program proven on evidence-based strategies, and it's a college and career readiness program that creates a life skill plan for those that go through the program. Mr. Malkowitz is going to go into a lot more detail on the program. So I'm just giving you kind of some bullet points about how we guide the learners about making these really important life-changing decisions that they're making. Now, particularly when we're looking at adults, the programs and the guided pathways process is one where we're looking at those adults that are also looking at post-secondary education and transitions into the workforce. So as students matriculate and enroll, this program has researched realistic and really implementable skills-based education planning. Now, we added that word skills-based in front of an ed plan for a reason, and you'll know, and you'll see why, exactly why we're talking about skills-based. We know that there is a skills deficiency with many of our workforce today. And so we want to make sure in this program, and every student that goes through it has a desired lifestyle that they choose, an educational career that they can be proud of, and become fiscally stable as well. The other triggers areas that interest this is a highly individualized curriculum. The curriculum does absolutely drill down into an individualized plan for that particular adult learner. But it's also fun, and it really integrates a lot of challenging activities. It uses very advanced technologies, which we're trying throughout there to really allow for a high touch setting for our participants. The cohorts really form amazing bonds with each other, and you'll see that in the future discussions in our presentation to you. And it does really allow for really, really deep learning. It encourages language acquisition experiences outside the classroom, where we know it's really important to be civically engaged in your community. And that really leads to you feeling belonged, feeling part of the actual environment that people live in, but not only that want to contribute to the workforce, find a great career, and bring that excitement back to their families as well. So we're going to put up a video now just to kind of briefly give you a little idea about what the Career Choices and Changes online program is about.
So you've heard a little bit about the course. Now you're going to hear from some of the students who took the course.
We're going to play the video though first on the
Yeah.
actual course. So
Yeah. Oh, that one. I'm sorry.
no worries.
Given this time of
Can you hear?
major changes, both in our workforce and our society, you're probably wondering which path to follow. So now might be the perfect time to delve deep and answer these questions for yourself. Who am I? What do I want? And how do I get it? Due to popular demand, we have made the Career Choices and Changes program available to you, young or old. Over 2 million students since 1990 have done this work to come up with a comprehensive and meaningful career and life plan. Through a series of activities, exercises, and surveys, you'll learn a systematic decision-making process to help you with the inevitable life-defining choices that face you. Along the way, you'll develop the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to successfully examine your own life and establish reasoned and researched career and life goals for your future. When done, you'll have a comprehensive and meaningful online 10-year career and life plan, along with a personalized skill-based continuing education plan that will ensure you remain competitive in today's workforce. In addition, your data can be transferred to a mobile app. So when you learn something new about yourself and your goals, you can easily update your plan at any time. The My 10-Year Plan app also makes it easy to share your plans with mentors, recruiters, employers, family, and even friends. This exploratory process will surprise you. It will be the springboard to either send you ricocheting in new directions you've never considered, or confirm your current plans. Whether you are starting or completing your education, re-entering the workforce, displaced due to changes in your industry, or looking for new professional challenges, taking the time to work through this online journal and learn this essential process will pay lifelong dividends. When adults experience the power of this decision-making process, they inevitably exclaim, "Why didn't someone do this with me when I was growing up?" Or, "I wish I had known this sooner." When you complete the work of nearly 100 activities and exercises in this program, you will be able to confidently identify the choices that will lead to a life of personal fulfillment and self-sufficiency. Order your Career Choices and Changes online program today. If within 30 days you are not 100% satisfied, you can cancel your license for a total refund. You have nothing to lose and so much to gain. Because it gets down to this: your life is defined by the choices you make. It's never too late. No matter what your age, you have your whole life ahead of you. Invest in yourself now and reap the rewards for years to come.
All right. Paul, you want to put the slides back up?
All right, so our program outcomes, again, are focusing on some of the areas that Thatcher had shared with you, in particular, increasing the number of CTE participants to recognize this post-secondary credential, again, in our non-traditional fields. And again, really focusing on placing them into this work-based learning program that goes beyond after completion of the program or connects to it. This particular curriculum that we've chosen through this program also focuses again on that adult secondary education and adult basic education student track. Really does to look at improving their alignment with pathways where there are jobs available in the Central Valley. In particular for us, we chose to lead off this program with focusing on the two highest growth sectors for adults and anyone that's looking for work in the healthcare area and the business and entrepreneurship area. This program also helps really look at the students' preparation to enter those pathways. And it really also helps them prepare to develop habits, skills, a really good mindset, but also those types of really character strengths that are really important so they can really succeed in the jobs in the current labor marketplace. Overall, the outcome is to close these regional access gaps, equity gaps, and especially for students for our target, which live in rural areas. So again, our key occupations served are in these, just a sample of some areas where we know there's a lot of jobs, right, Thatcher, in these areas. I mean, you hear from your board that sits on your board who are looking to hire folks in these areas.
So we have partners with the workforce board who come to every one of our meetings, and we work closely with them. And then also we just finished our 3-year plan, as all the consortia throughout the state did. And we focused on what are the areas of growth in career pathways and outcomes for our region. And these were 2 of the key sectors we found: healthcare, support occupations, and business and entrepreneurship. So again, we tied this grant and what we're doing here in with our adult education plan.
So the supporting data and evidence really, again, was infused with this amazing study that the Central Valley Center of Excellence performed. And I think you're fortunate, Thatcher, that you have a COE that has given you really good data that we could use when this application was put together, right?
Yes. Yep. That is true. Yep.
And so this really is, driven on making sure that when we're looking at the students we're going to serve over the next 2 years, that we commit to 25% or more of our participants will also be placed in work-based learning opportunities, internships, also apprenticeships, and jobs.
Yes. And that again ties into the outcomes of adult ed, right? So it's going to help both programs, both this Perkins grant that we're working on and our adult ed program. So.
Okay, so I think we're going to hand it on over to Mr. Malkowitz, who's going to introduce himself, and we got something to share.
One question here.
Sure. So you've heard now a little bit about the program. I'll go into more details momentarily, but first we'd like to show you a video done by students who have taken the course. It's really short, about 2.5 minutes. You got it, Thatcher?
I got it.
Tech Post is showing a question. There was a question that came up. Is this program available for students with disabilities? I believe we do have public school offers, at least in the colleges, it's DSPS, but what about adult ed?
Yeah, we have to by law.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I registered here, I just wanna improve my English. They just told me it's a class for you. Okay, I had no idea how it's gonna be my life. Something inside of me was missing. And you can, I don't know. In the chapter 1, who am I? I know I'm Yolanda, but what the heck I'm doing here?
Who am I and what do I want and how I can get my goal. How it's never too late to do something in your life.
Well, I really wanted long time ago, but because of my fears, I never did it.
It's like the course for the people who came to the United States and are just starting their life. I've got information about everything.
And all the meta is in front of me.
I changed my lifestyle. I have a plan.
We know what to do. We are equipped with the right tools to have the greatest outcome for our world.
This course has changed my life. I have the power and I can do it.
I think this is a must-have class for everybody.
This class has really made an impact on my life, just the course itself and the teacher. I know what I'm gonna do in 10 years.
I know my goal is to get a high school diploma.
Accounting associate degree.
Master's therapy.
I would like to continue to college.
It's the best thing that happened in my life.
My classmates are amazing people.
And we are all alike. I am forever grateful and I love you all.
I love you.
May I have
I know, I'm my cry baby. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You changed my life, not just my life, my family life.
Thanks.
So pretty powerful stuff. And I mean, that's what we're all here to do, right? With Adult Ed, is we're here to help people get on their pathways with life. So that was a video Gino put together. And Gino, take it away.
Thank you, Thatcher. So if you're interested, there's a full-length version of this video, and it features in part the woman in the center of the image on the right. She's also a former student, and her name is Sulamita. Sulamita first came to our school in 2017. She was homeless, battered, and divorced with 2 children, and with her dreamer status expired. In fact, she was so badly battered that she ended up in the hospital twice, once in the ICU. Our school's team got her into a woman's home and provided other wraparound services. They also enrolled her into career choices and changes. As I tell you about the course, I'll also tell you about her personal journey through our course and then out into the world after she matriculated.
Mr. Gino, I'm going to ask you to put full screen if you can, so that they can see the PowerPoint slides in its fullness.
Oh, it should be.
Yep, I think you need to launch slides.
I need to what?
You need to go back and stop share and then go back and share again and do full screen.
Okay, one moment.
No worries.
How's that?
Perfect.
I'm gonna try it one more time, excuse me. I'm experimenting as we go.
The joys of technology.
The joys of technology. How does that look? How does that look?
You're not sharing screen.
I'm not. One moment. Share screen. And that you can, I see, I understand now. All right.
Yep.
I'm flustered.
We all come from the last 2 years of being on Zoom. You are in good company. No problem.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, share screen. Okay,
Yes, it looks like it's showing your whole desktop, but we can see your full screen and not your notes. So I think this is adequate. I'll let your team speak up.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Sounds good.
I'm not sharing my whole screen. Okay. So the idea here is that I believe, and I think I speak for the whole team, that all students have the human right to become financially secure by working in a job that they love while living the lifestyle of their dreams. And the course can do that and has done that. And I'll tell you more about that later. About 90% of our matriculates are on a path or have already arrived at financial security by working in a job they love while living their ideal lifestyle. So the course is research-based, as Paul mentioned. The students learn research skills as they go. This particular piece was part of that research. So it's grounded in research, but it's also inspirational. The students answered 3 basic questions throughout the course. Who am I? What do I want for my life? And how do I get it? Particularly by using American systems, by leveraging American systems. Most of our students come to us on about the 3rd step of this staircase. They have the will to improve their lives, but they don't have the method. These are the steps the basic steps the students take in the 3 sections of the course. Who am I? What do I want? And how do I get it? We'll take a closer look at that. Sulamita and her classmates start off with self-exploration. They consider their passions, aptitudes, personalities. Then we ask them to give us their personal definition of success, and then to tell us about their mission in life. But the initial exercise for the mission in life is actually, how do I want to be remembered? And this is an assignment in which the students write their own epitaphs. Now, as odd as that may sound at the outset, it's a really important step for them to take in their self-exploration process. Here are some epitaph models. This is Tao Tiu. She's a 20-something year old from Thailand. And each student can do each exercise however they want. And this is how Tao decided to do it. Her epitaph says, I'm respectful and kind. I want to help older people and work in a nursing home. Heba is a 30-something-year-old woman from Jordan. Her epitaph says she loved her family. She was a nice person. She used her abilities to improve many people's lifestyle through architecture. This is Li. She's her epitaph is was a lovely wife, a good mom, and a good person in the world. Then she said, hey, don't cry. If you make noise, it'll wake me up. See you in heaven. I'll keep a good place for you and be waiting. And in the photo there is Lee on the left, Sulamita and Amy. And I had the honor to go to Amy's wedding last summer. Here's mine. Helped hundreds of thousands of people pursue their right to reach financial independence by working in a job they love while living their ideal lifestyle. But I also have an alternative epitaph. Part 2, what do I want for my life? The lifestyle that I want, what is the amount of money I'm going to need to support that lifestyle, and the working conditions that matter with my personality. So the budget chapter is one of the most interesting. Students put prices on big ticket purchases such as homes and cars for their ideal lifestyle, but they also go way down into the weeds with costs for dining out versus dining in, and even things that are more behavioral, like which way to turn when you enter a grocery store. Most grocery stores are laid out to nudge you to turn toward the produce section, and they do that for a reason. They've studied our psychology. Turns out that people pay more. No, they buy more unhealthy things if they go to the produce section first. Part 3, how do I get it? What are my career and lifestyle goals? And they do deep research on those career and lifestyle goals. Then they make a choice for their career and their lifestyle. And then they make an education plan for their career choice. That finalizes, and they're writing a 10-year plan for their lifestyle, education, career, and finances. So that's it in a nutshell. We'll go into some more detail here. The course, when they complete the course, their whole mindset has changed. For most of them, what's an external locus of control, not having any agency or power, to an internal locus of control. Who can make things happen? This is agency. Part 1, who am I? Sulamita and her classmates do a series of exercises about these parts of their personalities. And one of the things we learned about Sulamita during this part of the course is that she has a passion for cooking. You may think you've tasted the world's best tamales, but I guarantee you haven't. Part 2, what do I want? The students now start to do research. After they determine their ideal lifestyle, they'll need to determine what income they need to pay for it. They'll do research about their dream job and their career. We learned during this part of the course that Sulamita's ideal lifestyle would include a house at Lake Tahoe, California, and she wanted to own a Van Gogh, particularly Starry Night. We learned from her that her dream job or career, she wanted to be a restaurant owner, but she was starting from less than zero. And in the place that she was, it seemed very improbable. Part 3, how do I get what I want? Using American systems. The students go through many exercises that teach them about how American systems operate. This is mostly in the budgeting chapter, but we focus on this throughout. How exactly are you going to gain that agency in a step-by-step fashion? Problem is they know almost nothing about American systems. And as a result, there are a lot of misperceptions and guesswork and hearsay. So our job is to give our students the facts and the laws and the science involved in developing this agency. So it makes me wonder how much you folks, the folks here in this presentation, know about American systems. So what we're going to do here is take a quiz. I'm going to give you a quiz about American systems as it pertains to the course. keep a mental score because we're going to move quickly, and then later I'll ask you how you did. First question, is Social Security enough to retire on? What's the average monthly payment? Turns out it's nowhere near enough. Many of our students believe or have been told that Social Security will take care of them, but the average is only about, the average check, monthly check is only about $1,668. That was an easy one. Second question, can we get inexpensive and great health insurance? The answer is absolutely. At Covered California. When you get a copy of this presentation, you can click on the images to go to those places. Covered California is not an easy website to use. It's not user-friendly at all, and the students really struggle with it, but that's a good thing. What is 211 California? 211 California is an organization that helps people in trouble in these ways and more. Most consortia have their own version of 211 California or can be connected to their own. There's one, for example, for Kern County. Where is the only place authorized by the federal government to get our free and accurate credit reports and scores once a year? There's only one place. That's annualcreditreport.com. Where can we start if we want to buy our first house? You go to HUD. If you click on this image, it'll take you to HUD's website. What's financially unwise about this photo? The couple is buying a new car, which financially is not the wisest thing they can do. What is LIHEAP? An illness of exhaustion? It is an organization that offers low-cost utilities services to low-income people. How well do our students understand our education system? How well do we understand our education system? For example, no, did that later. What is WES? Is WES more? Stands for World Education Services. This is an organization designed mostly for immigrants who had an education in their home countries. They do things like transcriptions, evaluations. What organization do some of our students avoid driving by? Happens to be our own community colleges. Many of our students will avoid even driving by their community college because it gives them anxiety. I didn't know about this until one mentioned it to me, and then I surveyed my students, and it turns out to be a really common issue. What is OO? OO stands for the Occupational Outlook Handbook, which is a career research resource, along with ONET and their light versions, Career One Stop and My Next Move. Bureau of Labor Statistics updates these sites continually. What is Immigrants Rising? Is it a movement? If you have undocumented immigrants in your consortia, this is an invaluable resource with helping undocumented immigrants use American systems for their success. Can undocumented immigrants work legally in the USA? They most certainly can. One of the resources that Immigrants Rising publishes is the law, which says federal and state laws often do not require proof of immigration status for an individual to go into a business for him or herself and receive payment for goods and services. Individuals who perform services but are not employees are sometimes categorized as independent contractors. Definition: an independent contractor is a self-employed person. So undocumented immigrants are allowed under federal law to work as independent contractors, and they're allowed to form LLCs legally. What are the differences between public and private colleges and universities? If you want more information that will answer that question, you can go to Study in the States by clicking on this image. What are the differences between for-profit and nonprofit colleges and universities? There are some major differences. You can see that the 6-year completion rate is the worst in 4-year for-profit. The percentage is the worst. The average enrollment period is the longest, but for-profit schools also charge more for tuition and use less of that tuition for actual education. So guess where the money goes? For-profit institutions also have the highest student loan amount average of those three. Why should we be very careful when choosing a trade or a school? Well, the federal government will tell you, be very careful, because many of these institutions are not legitimate. What is the official U.S. government financial aid webpage? It is federalstudentaid.gov. What is FAFSA? FAFSA is the free application for student aid. What is the California DREAM Act and who is eligible? The California DREAM Act is a law that allows undocumented immigrants the right to their education and the right to their financial aid for their education. What's the living wage for a family of 4 living in Kern County? There it is. You can get living wage calculation for any county in California by clicking on this image. It will take you to an MIT website. So the average 2507, that's an annual wage of $50,140, which is below the poverty line for a family of 4. What is CalSavers? Is it a weight loss program? CalSavers is a program run by the funded by the government, but run by a private firm that allows people with $1 to begin their to open a Roth IRA account. Anyone can do it as long as they live in California. What is the only nonprofit investment firm in the United States? It's Vanguard. We have one. All other investment firms are for profit. What is behavioral economics? Basically, behavioral economics is dumb stuff people do with their money. It's science-based, and the image that you're looking at is a video still from a PBS series about money called 2 Cents. And you can find that by clicking on the link, the entire series. It's fantastic. One of the students who thrived in learning about behavioral economics was Yolanda C. She learned that she learned the fluffy blanket lesson. This is a marketing strategy used by Costco called the treasure hunt strategy. When she learned about this strategy, she decided to use her prefrontal cortex more when she went on her frequent trips to Costco, and did not fall prey anymore to the treasure hunt strategy. If you want to learn more about the treasure hunt strategy, you can click on this image for a Wall Street Journal video about that. So Yolanda is now matriculated, and she is married with 3 children, and she got her high school diploma last year. She said graduation was not easy, but I did it. I have very clear goals, and I'm very happy to have been part of the Career Choices and Changes class. Her goals include earning a bachelor's degree, working as a first-line supervisor in an office, and traveling in an RV. So how did you do on the test? This is the second to last question. The last question is, how can we expect our students to succeed if they don't understand all these very complicated systems? How can a student like Yolanda reach financial independence by working in a job that she loves and living her ideal lifestyle if she can't master these systems? So back to the curriculum. There's Sulamita over on the right. Section 1, who am I? Section 2, what do I want? When we get to section 2, chapter 7, after they've done deep research on 3 potential careers for them, they now have to make a decision. And to make that decision, we use a decision-making rubric. Now this, if you click on this link, it will take this image, it will take you to a video or the lesson that we use for the decision-making rubric. I'm including it here, and I'm going to go through it very quickly so you can see how I've redesigned all of the units using slide stacks, specifically Google Slides. When COVID struck, there was a bit of serendipity for me because I have a master's degree in the instructional design for online learning. So I took the 85 units that we do in the course, and I put them into this format. Each one starts with a motivational video. If you click on that, you'll go to it. We won't watch it now. The video has 2 reasons. One, it engages the students in the lesson that we're about to use, and it increases neurotransmission activity for better learning. I need to go back. How do I do that? I can't see my own screen.
So Mr. Gino, just a few more minutes, we're going to transition into Dr. Pirtle so she can share how this content is taken into a whole new immersion opportunity.
Sure, I'm just about done.
Awesome.
So you can go through, you can click on this link to go back, and I cannot see my, there we go. All right. So the students, through this process, they focus on analyzing, evaluating, and creating themselves. It's a really personal experience, and personalized experience was mentioned in this morning's session. It's extremely important to personalize learning. You can click on these 2 links or these 2 images to learn more about that. It's really important to go through this process to battle the status quo bias when we avoid action or avoid change. And here's another version of that. And the third part of the curriculum, for a rather dry taste of the nuts and bolts, you can watch this video here that we link to. The whole point here is to build a culture of persistence. And the result is a bonding experience where the students rely on each other for persistence, and they can continue their relationships and their support of each other afterwards. This is Milagros and Judy and Paulina. They didn't invite me to their grape juice party because I had already moved to Oregon, where I am now. The reason I know that we have about 90% success rate is that I contact all of my students at least annually, and I've created a slide stack called the Wall of Fame, where you can read about how these students have persisted. So I follow their progress at least once a year. I also, you don't have to do this if you adopt a course, but I also have an annual reunion, or I did when I still lived in the Sacramento area. It's been a fantastic experience, and we've done it for the last, we did it for the last 6 years running, but this year the reunion was even more exciting because we had it at Sulamita's restaurant, which she opened this year. She's now married with 3 children. She doesn't have that house in Lake Tahoe yet, but she does have a Van Gogh print and is working with a management services to protect women and children. But who's next? How about your consortium students? You have the opportunity here in this really unique situation post-COVID to help your students re-examine their lives and to change their lives for the better so that they can live their dreams. Now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Tony Pirtle, who's going to talk about the virtual reality aspect of our course.
Thank you, Gina. Wow, that was an amazing overview of an amazing curriculum. Thank you for sharing those stories. Okay, so I have a few slides to share with everybody to introduce the concept of virtual reality and the role that it's going to play in supporting this program. So let me go ahead and quickly share my screen here with you so that you can see that PowerPoint, I hope. So let's see. Is it playing, folks? Do you see that?
We see your
Yes.
PowerPoint.
Great. Thank you very much.
And the tiles along the left, so it's not quite in slideshow yet.
You got it. Let's go ahead and play that. Thank you. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay, so part of the grant is dedicated towards supporting this program with a component of virtual reality. And as you heard earlier on from Thatcher, the consortium area there covers 24,000 miles, and trying to reach the adult learners across those regions. You know, reaching remote learners can be difficult. So bringing in a virtual reality component brings more to the table, since we are emerging into the Web 3.0 environment. And our cluster careers are healthcare and business and entrepreneurship. Virtual reality plays a very big role, or will be playing a very big role in those clusters also. So my role here as a member of the team is to bring in the virtual reality component, and I shall move us into the next slide here. So what is virtual reality? And if you could see my screen, or you could see me right now, I would be holding up, I'm not sure you can, but I would be holding up an Oculus Quest headset, Quest 2 headset. And what virtual reality allows the students to do is feel fully immersed in an environment online. They feel fully engaged and present, and the research is showing that. It allows for the students to have real social experiences within this virtual reality environment, and they can experiment utilizing lots of tools that are available to them in these virtual reality components and environments. They do feel a sense of belonging and fulfillment once they join these environments. And they also, it also allows for the promotion of equity and diversity inside of these environments. Students are able to share very quickly. They do open up more inside of the virtual reality components, and you will see a little video later on as we finish up of our team opening up when they came together for the very first time inside of one of the virtual reality platforms. And of course here it allows the students to experience some form of learning with new technologies. Many students may have been exposed to gaming inside of a virtual reality component, but we are going to see more and more of that in the workplace as far as utilizing virtual reality for workplace meetings and so on. So what you see here on the screen is just an example of some images taken while our screenshots, if you like, that I took while wearing a headset as I travel around the virtual reality arena, and so, some of our team members are in these pictures. But I want to point out to you a couple of things, and it relates to something that Gino said about students being afraid to drive by their campus, being afraid to expose themselves to new environments, to new areas and places. And while most students have their cell phones and can use Google Maps and see where they're going and map those places out ahead of time, the virtual reality version of that allows the students to tour and actually walk down those streets and feel everything around them, 3D, 360 all around them, so they can look at areas and really feel the experience of that area before going there. So the third picture on the right there on the top line, that's actually Chernobyl. And I don't know about you, but I know I would never be able to go that close to Chernobyl. But utilizing a virtual reality piece, I was able to go and check it out for myself. You'll notice just below that to the right, I've got a group of people there on the Golden Gate Bridge. And I have lived in California for over 20 years, and I still have not been across the Golden Gate Bridge in a real environment, in real life. But I did get to do it here inside of virtual reality. And to the right there, I'm not going to tell you all of these pictures here, but to the right there, you do see the Roman baths in England. And slightly down to the left of that, there is a room with a sofa in it. I was able to walk around the White House, and so can anybody else. So just really to give you a visual before we dive in just a little more as to the kinds of things that students could do here. So why adult learners? In particular, research is showing that for adult learners, utilizing virtual reality adds to the health and well-being of older adults. It helps them in terms of memory retention, helps ease fatigue, and eases the tension and depression that one might feel, all the while exercising the mind and body. So by adding virtual reality to the curriculum that you saw from Gino, allows for the students to experience a fully immersed learning experience. So what are we doing with virtual reality for the component adding this to career choices and changes? So Gino and I have been working together and working through the curriculum and pulling out things that we could, or activities that could be utilized in the VR environment. So for example, and this is a very short slide here, a summary of some of the things that we have been working through. So for example, at the very beginning, Gino talked already about, you know, what is the lifestyle that a student would want? And so we looked at, we could take the students on a tour where they're building their own avatars inside of virtual reality, but then they can do that on a beach, and we could go around different neighborhoods and so on. We can bring objects into the classroom. So what kind of objects can we bring in? We want to bring videos in where the students can explore career clusters. We're looking at doing a virtual reality career fair where the students get the opportunity to meet with other people that maybe they wouldn't in a regular classroom environment. So you can see here, just by looking at the slide there, and I'm trying to keep this very brief for everybody, there's a lot of opportunities to utilize the tools inside of virtual reality. So virtual reality for the curriculum here doesn't go through every single lesson, but we've picked out pieces that would most apply, be the most valuable pieces, if you like, for the students to experience. So my role is to train the teachers in how to use the virtual reality and support them through this as they build. And it's a lot of fun and I enjoy it immensely. So with that being said, what I would like to do is hand you over to Thatcher in just a moment, because he is going to show you a video clip, and the video clip does include bloopers. The video clip shows you an example of building and maneuvering around a virtual reality environment. Now, I do want to alert you ahead of time before he hits play here that what you're seeing in the video is what's been filmed through my eyes while I was wearing a headset. So you don't have the benefit when you watch a video of seeing everything that's going on around you from left to right and all the way around you. You can only see what I saw as I'm filming what's right in front of me. The best way to experience all of this is to put a headset on and join us in the metaverse. So I think with that being said, I am going to stop my share here for just a moment. Make sure I can still see everybody is there. That's good. My headset is right here with me. Just you've probably seen these on the TV, but I think we are good to go. Thatcher, if you're ready to go ahead and share the video.
All right, thank you, Tony. And like she said, this was the first time everybody got together in the metaverse and kind of this classroom setting. It was new to me. It was new to everybody here. And it was pretty amazing that we were in there interacting. You don't get the full sense of that, like Tony was saying, through the YouTube, but I'll go ahead and share that and you can see sort of what it was like.
Morning, Professor.
Imagine a person who always makes the right financial decisions. Let's call her Penny. Penny approaches every money problem with perfect logic and reason. She never gets emotional or impulsive and always knows what's in her own best interests.
So normally we'd watch the whole video. What about the video did you like, Jeff?
Well, I saw the video in the other reality and then I saw it in this reality. And this place is like really, like the screen is bigger and it's easier to see than on my phone.
All right, so what we were going to do when we thought we had 4 people was to have you pair up with somebody and discuss your answers to questions 3 and 5 or 4 and 6. But since we only have 3 people, I'll just ask the 3 of you to address each question. And when we do that, I'd like you to come on stage. All right. So question number 3, do people such as Penny exist? Who'd like to answer that one?
Yeah.
Good morning. Do people like Penny really exist? And the answer is probably, but very few of them. I do have a cousin who weighs everything, thinks about everything, never makes a decision in less than 2 days. So yes, people like Penny really exist. We probably just don't know a bunch about many of them.
Yeah, there aren't very many.
Or do they exist? No, I think mostly people are very much have irrational sides because we have things like hunger and anxiety and different things that happen to our bodies that make our brains change the way we think, and so it can affect our decision making, moods,
right,
and feelings. We're emotional creatures.
Any other thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, I think that definitely the behavioral side of making decisions definitely plays a big role, because we're also creatures of habit, but also getting bombarded by marketing messages and social media constantly that is trying to drive that behavior.
So what my wife and I do for Christmas is we go to Macy's, or we have done this a lot. We go to Macy's and she buys some stuff for herself and I buy some stuff for me. Then we hand it to each other and we put the gifts that we got ourselves. I put the gifts that Karen got for herself in a box, like the ones you see in front of you. And she does the same. And then on Christmas morning, we open them and act surprised. That way, we don't we don't return the gifts, right? They're so yeah. So whatever's in that box is something that you not only want, but you really need. So what's going to be in your box, Paul?
In my box is going to be keys to a car. And that seems like, oh, you want a car, but I would like an electric car because the car that I'm driving right now is super expensive. I just filled it up and it was over $115 just to fill it up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So Susan, tell us what's in your box.
What's in my box is a LiDAR camera. A LiDAR camera is a special camera that will capture the depth, height, and width. It's very useful for bringing objects into the metaverse, creating objects for the metaverse.
Thank you. And Jeff?
Oh, I'm the idealist in the room. I think it just should be world peace in the box. But I know that's asking for a lot, but it could fit in there, I think.
Yes, it could.
Thank you,
everybody. Thanks for spending this time with us. It was great.
So just for some fun, guys, let's go out to the big quad area in the middle here. If you follow Gino, use your tablets and find an object and place it out there in the green together. Yeah.
How'd you make her giant?
If you point to her and you use your joysticks to go back and forth with it, Jeff, left and right, forward and back changes the size and the place. So there we go.
How'd you like that, Dwayne?
We lost Susan and now we lost Dwayne.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, this is cool. I really like this. I mean, I'm serious about that too. Like, this is dope.
Just
There's
right.
Susan, she's playing on the playground way over there.
Yep.
No, she's
I dropped perseverance for you there.
What did I do?
What are you doing, Ty?
I'm turning blue again.
Are you?
I'm trying to
I don't know how
recenter myself.
I don't know how to do what you're doing.
Well, that's because you're not cool like me.
There you
Okay,
go.
there we
Paul.
go.
Okay, go follow the guy.
So, yeah, as you can see, it was very interactive with everybody there. And one thing I wanted to point out too, before we open up to questions for anybody or,
The job must get done.
oh, sorry.
We get you, Steve in Denver and Kay in Fresno. Always make it happen. And we're here for you.
So, I want to make sure I point this out is I mentioned we have the highest disconnected youth in California in the Kern consortium. And one of the things I'm hoping we see is, you know, with this immersive virtual reality classroom, that we bring down that effective filter for a lot of our students, right? A lot of our adult ed students have this fear of school, of entering a classroom, talking, speaking up. And these young people might feel much more comfortable being in an interactive environment in VR or online. We're also going to be doing a distance learning online. So yes, we have this attitude as educators that being in person is the best opportunity, but not for everybody, right? There are lots of people who will excel in this environment, whether it be online in Canvas, kind of they're learning at their own pace, or in a virtual classroom like this. And so I don't know of any other adult schools doing things like this or community colleges. And I'm hoping we see that with this grant. This is an innovation grant. And so we're hoping to start this and see how successful we can be with virtual reality component tied into this career choices and changes curriculum. Does anybody else have something to close off on?
I think actually I will quickly add, I saw something just come up recently about immersive education, and the presenter was making the point that more and more it's becoming difficult to engage learners. You know, and in particular, we've lost some engagement in the last couple of years because, well, we've all been there and experienced it. So what they're seeing is that to help the engagement along virtual reality is really helping meet that need. So what's interesting about engagement, because I know myself teaching, I see that too. I feel that as well.
Excellent. Yep. Okay, we're heading off to anywhere in the universe, huh?
We're ready to answer questions in a minute.
Yeah. So any questions from anybody? Like I said, we're just starting this year. It's a 2-year grant. We're hoping to serve, 500 students in this consortium and see that success and see those students. 25% is our target goal of those 500 to go on and get a job or apprenticeship through this program. And again, like I said, as a director of adult ed, this all ties into our adult ed programs. It's very simple, that connection. So, and that was intentional when we did this to make sure it wasn't something totally different from what we're already doing in adult ed. So any questions?
There is a question. It came to me directly and it asks, where did you find the program Career Course and Change? Was it a website?
Yeah. So career choices and changes, I can speak about it as the director here, right? So it's been around for a long time in the K-12 arena. They call it Get Focused, Stay Focused, right? And I don't know how long it's been there. Paul or Gino or Jeff can answer that. But like I said, Gino gave a presentation at our consortium pre-COVID. He came to one of our meetings and he was trying to get this started 3 years ago, and with different consortia throughout the state. And we were interested in it, but it just never got off the ground, partly because COVID happened, the pandemic happened, and things just kind of stalled in a lot of areas, right? In terms of how long this has been around, Paul or Jeff or Gino?
Sure. It's 30 years, this program that was authored by the founder and founders of this curriculum. So over 2.5 million students have been able to engage in the program. And, what's amazing is that, it is infused with qualitative and quantitative data that supports the matriculation and success. And that data, if you're a data guy or geek or gal like me, we're happy to send you that data and give you that information. It is on the website, but and even walk you through it so you can kind of understand how this is this comprehensive program is also A through G approved. So it's also qualified for dual enrollment, which is super helpful for students looking for elective courses in your adult schools, which is what your adult leadership is going to be using this for, right, Thatcher?
Yes. Yep. And Barbara says, I remember Thatcher bringing VR idea to Monterey 10 years ago. Great job. So Barbara is the principal at Pacific Grove Adult, and they have a very large retired population. VR could also be a great, this is something off topic with career choices and changes, but with retired population who have a hard time getting to, a physical classroom as well. So any other questions?
There was another question, I think. Ilse said, great presentation, thank you. Is the Career Choices and Changes curriculum available to schools for use? And how did you adapt the curriculum to pathways in your consortium?
So, okay, I'll answer the adaptation to curriculum and pathways in our consortium. So our consortium, we meet every month and we're pretty strong group. We work well together, all our sites. And to adapt to the curriculum, I just presented this opportunity that we were going to apply for this grant, and we had buy-in from everybody. And like I said, it was easy to adapt the pathways to our 3-year plan, right? We have these goals that we're trying to get our students into jobs or into post-secondary. from the adult schools or some type of certificate, career certificate, then in addition, we want persistence of our students, right? And we want, various outcomes tied to CAPE and CASAS and TOPS. And so all of the goals we created for this grant, intentionally, we tied into our 3-year plan, which, will tie into our annual plan. So it would be however you want to adapt this with your consortium and your schools. But the outcomes that we're hoping to see, with focusing on careers and, financial literacy, we're thinking we're going to see that. And Gino says he's seen it all the time with his students. So I think it ties into those outcomes. The career choices and changes curriculum, Paul, do you have the information on that available for school use?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this program, like I said, is being used, and you may not even know it, in your surrounding school districts or K-12, in your high schools, and possibly in your middle schools, and even in the first year experience for at your local community college. And it may not be called Get Focused, Stay Focused, or Career Choice and Changes. It may be actually called something different in the catalog, but the curriculum behind it is this exact curriculum that Gino showed you. And Gino, I think you kind of have examples of some schools that were doing that, adopting it in their schools.
Yeah. Something connected to that is the textbook was originally written for first-year college students. Right now, there's an edition of the book that's being revised for a January publication, and it's being revised specifically with my input for our adult education students of all ages and ethnicities. So that edition of the book will be ready in January.
And I want to add one thing too. Paul mentioned, your districts might be using it already. Yes, bring it up to your principals or at your board meetings for your consortium. We have a member from Kern County Superintendents of Schools on our board, and he works with all different programs. He knew the curriculum. There were a couple of people in our consortium who knew this curriculum right away, and they've seen the success with their K-12 programs. So if you talk to people in your districts, they may be familiar with it.
So Tony, share with us about this headsets that we are showing off here, because people might be thinking like, how are we going to engage with students, and our idea to pilot this and get it mobile around the different adult schools, because there are 15 adult schools, as Dr. said, in the Central Valley, all spread out disparately throughout a really large area. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, so the grants allowed for the purchase of a number of headsets that will be available, and those will be available to bring the classes in together, the students in together, to first of all train them how to use and be comfortable, and then experience their class in those settings. But there's also the opportunity to take those headsets around to the different sites, if you like. So that I think Dr. Jeff can talk more about that, being mobile with those headsets. But absolutely, it's allowing for providing all of the technology to the sites to make this happen. So
yeah, I think one of the things that Thatcher mentioned in the beginning was the scope and scale of the geographic area that Kern County supports. With that, headsets can definitely create a way that students can port in. Distance education is really emerging now. It's been around for a long time with learning management systems, but those are stalwarts at this point. We're looking at what's possible. And so you could literally, in a sense, mail a headset to someone. They could charge it up, connect it to Wi-Fi, and log into class. Instead of checking out a book, you check out a headset and you can have all the curriculum and coursework you need to complete your degree, and potentially leaving your home.
So Thatcher, you mentioned older adults. I'll just throw in. I have a number of friends who are retired for a long period of time, and some that can't travel anymore. And I have a series of headsets in my house, and I could have student versions as well. But I've taken those headsets out to my friends and had them experience the travel component, if you like, the teleportation to places that they grew up in, and they have, they can't revisit those in real life, and to experience that, the eldest person that I have worked with on that was 93, and he used to ride a horse and cart to deliver milk to the farms in Ireland. And it was so emotional. He actually really believed he was right there and was talking to me as if I was standing in the road next to him. That immersive experience is huge. And he adapted very quickly, for a 93-year-old man, very quickly to maneuvering the equipment. So we are there in terms of the technology helping folks along.
That's a good point. And then one last thing I'll say, and then we can wrap up. But as we're coming back from the pandemic, a lot of people may have anxiety of being around groups as well too. And this could be another way that people could interact within a classroom setting. And anytime we can do that, right, bring more people together, I think it's a good thing that we're doing. So we're constantly thinking about, how do we bring our college or our adult school out to the community now, right? That's the big thing. How do we get students here? How do we get out there to those students? And this, we're hoping, is going to be a great way to do that. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I also want to mention, Thatcher, that our students will enjoy independent studying. So this program is also offered in the modality of independent studying. And you can be an independent student and take this course with the support of the school district supporting you. And so a portion of what we're doing with the students, we're going to be piloting this into your region, is independent study. And those will have support systems through a cadre of support systems and wraparound services, especially for our English language learners. We'll be assessing their language proficiencies as well, and meeting them where they're at. That's really critical, that when you're in this course, there are different levels of proficiency, and the English language barriers that exist are tremendous throughout California and throughout the nation as well. But particularly where we're focusing on, we know that our farm working communities particular are challenged with language barrier to find these careers. So we'll infuse wraparound services to support those language learners, the immigrants, the refugees, those disadvantaged in the communities of Central Valley. We're just excited and want to thank you, Thatcher, for your leadership and bringing this team together, taking a risk, to allow us to apply for a project with you. And we're just excited to keep you all updated on what's happening. The project is a 2-year project. So we hope to report out at the next conference as well, our developments and findings. Dr. Marizik is going to put his email address along with mine into the chat, so that you can let us know if you'd like to be informed. We're both the project managers on the project. Thatcher is the project director leading us. Tony and Gino are the co-instructors and trainers for the program. And then, of course, our adult education partners at the 15 adult schools that we're going to be that we're working with. So looking forward to reporting out, Thatcher, and keeping engaged with your colleagues. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be against the grain a little bit. But that's what it takes to really disrupt, and not seem not
953-7596.
And Elena's giving her phone number out so that we can call her later.
Okay. All right.
There we go. Sorry, couldn't catch it fast enough.
That's all right.
I think we're good. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Please make sure you grab those email addresses to connect, as well as the evaluation link. Those evaluation links are what really helps us inform which recordings we are going to remediate and post. It also helps inform how we plan professional development moving forward. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out, and thank you for being with us on the first day of the summit, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye all.